On everybody, it's Tommy here from Saleslucky.com, and today I want to talk to you guys about a topic called Separator Days. And this is a concept that I heard from one of my mentors in the Arte Syndicate named Ed Milet, and he talks about Separator Days. So what are Separator Days? So before I explain, let me kind of, actually I'll just jump right into it. So Separator Days are the days that when everyone else are taking the time off, they're you know doing whatever they're doing. Maybe that might be spending time with family, or maybe they might be doing something, playing video games, whatever it might be. But it's times where people take the time off, but instead other people, maybe such as yourself, are using to take advantage of and move themselves forward. And for example, the separator days could be weekends, they could be nights on the weekdays, they could be a popular one is around the holidays, let's say between mid-November to mid-January, when people are basically treating the time between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's as one huge holiday, right? They kind of slack off and don't really perform, and maybe use the excuse of people are on vacation, so they don't really work as hard. And don't get me wrong, obviously I think spending time with family, enjoying life is important. I mean, at the end of the day, what's the point of working so hard if we're not enjoying these things that make us happy and fulfilled, right? But what I'm talking about specifically here are, moments in time when we have time at our disposal. For example, during COVID, when there's really no distractions because there's nothing really else to do out there, and we're all at home. But instead of using this time productively, people are binge watching Netflix or whatever may have you. For example, like, alcohol sales have gone up, and all these things have gone up that are not really kind of helping us produce the results that we want in our lives, right? So the idea of separator days is using this time where other people would otherwise be wasting and using it to our advantage. Because at the end of the day, I mean, let's be real. Nowadays with the internet basically has removed barriers of entry to most, if not all, professions out there. Okay, you can pretty much Google and YouTube how to do something, how to build something. I mean, you can pretty much literally Google how to build a rocket ship. I mean, you'll find plans on Google on how to build a rocket ship. And I remember, Elon Musk famously saying, when someone asked him, hey, when you started, had the idea of SpaceX and you didn't have any background in the space industry, what did you do to get started? And Elon Musk famously said, he just started reading books about it. He started learning about it. So the barrier of entry has basically become non-existent in our world today. If you want to be a rapper, you want to be an influencer, you start creating videos on YouTube, okay? Start recording songs on your own laptop. And as a result, it's made competition so much higher because, for example, someone in India or China or Africa can, take out their laptop and start working away at these things. Now, as a result, it's made it a lot more competitive, and as a result of that, it's created the need for us to be more productive with our time and be more productive with our resources. So this is the idea of separator days. And just to share with you guys, over this past year, many of you know that I came back from my year in living abroad in Colombia, in Medellin, Colombia. And within this past year, I've been very focused. You've seen the content that I've put out on YouTube, the blog posts I've created on Saleslucky, and at the same time performing a full-time job and doing it well at the same time. Just saying. And, what I've had to do is I've really had to dial in my habits and maximize the opportunity of separator days, using times at night, using time on the weekend to basically propel my life forward. And my intention for creating this video is to help you, the watcher here, be able to take advantage of that as well, okay? Because our world is more competitive than ever, and at the same time, we have more opportunities than ever. So, And Gary V, Gary Vaynerchuk, he's obviously a very famous influencer and social media, influencer. He talks about how basically in his 20s, he said he punted his 20s. And what does that mean? It means he basically worked every day throughout his 20s, throughout that entire decade. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the successful people that I know, that I've seen, they'll always tell you, the ones who'll tell you the truth, that aren't trying to sell you anything, are, at the end of the day, the ones who are truthful will tell you that it's all about sacrifice. It's about sacrificing things that cause immediate gratification for a longer term result. I mean, that's what Amazon did, right? Amazon, Jeff Bezos continually reinvested his profits into building his company for the longer term. And look at where they are at now and where their stock is at now. So, what could be some examples of things we could do on Separator Days? Maybe it's reading 30 minutes a day. Maybe it's reading an hour a day. Maybe it's just reading 10 pages a day. Or maybe it's starting that project that you've always wanted. Or maybe it's listening to those sales calls that you've done and actually studying what you're saying on them so that you can improve as much, as uncomfortable as that might be. Because we all know when we start doing that, it's like, it's a little icky when we first listen to ourselves, right, in our own voice. But truthfully, that's where all the growth is. And the same thing with Separator Days. What are some things that you can do to take advantage of this time that we have now, especially during COVID, where we have all this time on our hands and very minimal distractions that you can do to propel yourself forward so that your future self will thank you for, so that you can create the life that you've always desired, okay? And I have this quote sitting on my cabinet on my desk, and I'll read it to you. It's by Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich. He says, it's called a Parting Thought from Napoleon Hill, and he says, I would remind you that life is a checkerboard, and the player opposite of you is time. If you hesitate before moving or neglect to move promptly, your man will be wiped off the board by time. You are playing against a partner who will not tolerate indecision. The master key is intangible, but it is powerful. It is the privilege of creating in your own mind a burning desire for a definite form of riches. There is no penalty for the use of this key, but there is a price you must pay if you do not use it. The price is failure. There is a reward of stupendous proportions if you put the key to use. It is the satisfaction that comes to all who conquer self and force life to pay whatever is asked. And, because of that quote, I actually have a tattoo on my arm. If you can read it here, it says race against time. It's just a reminder for myself to take advantage of the time that we have. Because truthfully, between you and me, we don't have the luxury of forever. We don't have the luxury of tomorrow. And I'll finish off this video with a final quote. It's actually a Chinese proverb. And it goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Talk to you guys soon. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And make sure to like it, all right? I've spent a lot of time creating this content. If you guys enjoyed it, if you guys found it valuable, please like it. And I'll chat with you guys soon. And hit the subscribe button too.